So it's a warm June evening in 1991, and I have just made some astronomically poor choices. Dangerous, illegal, and just plain stupid. And I'm gonna land in the back of a patrol car or an ambulance, maybe both. So here's what happened. A bunch of buddies have rolled into Clovis, California for our friend Dane's wedding. But the wedding's not for a few days, so Randy and I decide that we're gonna get a head start on the festivities. Randy being the one guy who is more prone to poor choices than I am. So our host Eric drives us into town and suggests that we go to a cowboy bar, Jim's Place. Now, back in the day, Clovis wasn't exactly known as the most welcoming place to outsiders, unless you had a certain crew-cut Aryan quality to you. I think their town motto was Clovis, community, prosperity, and xenophobia. We've got it all. So with our long hair and our sandals and our beards, we didn't exactly fit the Clovis mold, you might say. So what do? Well, we walk right in, we plop down at the end of the bar, and we start ordering and slamming White Russians. Not the most gender-conforming drink for dudes in Clovis. Now, Randy and I are summer camp buddies from way back, and short of knowing each other in the biblical sense, we've done everything together. Laugh, cry, eat, sleep, dance, shower. So we don't think anything of just sitting there knee to knee and giggling and catching up over old times. This is exactly what we're doing. Until we hear, "Bar's closed, boys." And we sort of wake up from our happy drunken stupor to look around, and turns out the people at the other end of the very same bar that we're sitting at don't seem to have a closed bar. Bar doesn't seem to be closed for the people on the dance floor or at the jukebox. And as I go to point this out, the bartender says, louder and slower, "Bar's closed, boys." So at this point, we feel unwelcome. and we start to say, but our ride, and we don't know where we are. We're not from here. And he says, "You can call using the payphone on your way out the door." So, not feeling terribly welcome, we somehow find some change. We somehow find the phone number, and we call Eric, and we're like, "They're kicking us out, man. You got to come rescue us. This is terrible." And then we spill out onto the sidewalk in front of Jim's Place. Now, one thing, we become really worried that he's not going to be able to find us, forgetting that he's the local who dropped us off at this bar. And then we become really preoccupied with the idea that we need a vantage point from which we can see him coming and where he can clearly see us. And then I hear, "There it is." And I turn my head to see Randy motioning toward the city of Clovis's municipal water tower at 15 stories tall. Now, unfortunately in our state, this makes perfectly clear drunken logic. And so we mount an assault on the water tower. And at this point, it kind of becomes cinematic. I want you to think Mission Impossible meets Scooby-Doo meets Dumb and Dumber. And we go into drunken stealth mode, and we are darting behind shrubbery and hiding behind stop signs, and somehow we stumble across the street and through the park, and we launch ourselves up and over the fenced water tower, and we're standing at the base of the 15-story, very skinny, tiny, exposed ladder. Whatever you are thinking, it is way worse. And we begin to ascend, and I am holding onto each rung with a death grip. And that sounds safe, but I'm getting exhausted, like, I'm a story up. And we go higher, higher. Then I slip, but I catch myself. And we go higher and higher. And finally, we get to the little catwalk with a tiny railing, 15 stories up. And at this point, our drunken logic is completely validated because we can see forever. You can see, there's Eric's house. Hey, there's Jim's place. Hey, there's an approaching patrol car. And we hit the deck and we hug right up against the water tower, hoping that Nobody's going to see us. And we hear the patrol car approach, and then poof, it is illuminated by a giant spotlight. And I think to myself, I wonder what the food's going to taste like in jail. I wonder if the groom's anger-induced aneurysm is going to cause the wedding to be postponed. And then it drives away. So when we get brave enough to peek over, we see Eric coming, and we spill off the edge, and we somehow make it down. We fall into a heap, jump over the fence, and we're flailing toward the car. He's wondering about his association with us. We jump in the car, we scream, "Go, go, go," like we've just robbed a casino, and we get off scot-free. I thought about this for years, and just a few years ago, I was talking to the groom, who's still a close friend, who's still married to the same lovely woman. And we were reminiscing about old times, and he says, if you had gotten arrested and missed my wedding, you would still be known to this day as that asshole who fucked up my wedding. So I want to say I'm really thankful for horrible decisions in life that didn't come with horrible consequences, but I'm thankful for the great adventures as well, and I'm thankful for friends, the ones who have occasionally led me astray, and the ones who've helped me find my way home. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Keep it going for John O'Bear.